You know what separates highly intelligent women from the rest? It's not luck, it's not talent, it's habits. The small daily choices that shape their confidence, success, and impact. And listen, if you're waiting for the perfect moment to become that woman, stop. That moment is now. Because here's the truth, no one is coming to save you. No one is handing you a permission slip to chase your dreams, speak up in meetings, or take control of your life. The most intelligent women I know don't wait, they create. Confidence is not something you're born with, it's something you build. And the way highly intelligent women build it is by taking action before they feel ready. They don't wait for the perfect moment, the right amount of experience, or a magical boost of confidence. They understand that confidence comes from doing, not thinking about doing. Think about the last time you hesitated on something important. Maybe it was speaking up in a meeting, applying for a job, or starting a new project. You probably told yourself you weren't ready, that you needed more time, more knowledge, or more preparation. But let's be honest, how much time do you really need? The truth is, the more you wait, the harder it gets to take action. Your brain starts filling in the gaps with fear, doubt, and excuses. Highly intelligent women don't let that happen. They recognize that hesitation is the enemy of growth, so they train themselves to act before their brain has a chance to talk them out of it. There's a trick to this, and it's ridiculously simple. The moment you feel hesitation creeping in, count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. This interrupts the habit of overthinking and pushes you into action. It doesn't matter if the action is small. What matters is that you train your brain to trust yourself. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever, because feeling ready is a myth. Readiness is a decision, not a feeling. Highly intelligent women understand that taking action is what separates successful people from those who stay stuck. They don't waste time wondering if they're good enough. They just start. They write the email, pitch the idea, sign up for the course, speak up in the room, and step forward even when fear is screaming at them to sit down. They know that discomfort is a sign of growth, not a stop sign. They lean into that discomfort instead of running from it. Imagine a woman who dreams of starting her own business but keeps putting it off because she doesn't feel ready. She tells herself she needs more experience, more money, or a better plan. A year goes by, then 2, then 5, and she's still in the same place, still waiting for the perfect time. Now, imagine another woman with the same dream, but instead of waiting, she takes action. She starts small, maybe just by researching, then by reaching out to potential mentors, then by launching something imperfect but real. Over time, she figures things out, she gains experience, builds confidence, and grows her business while the first woman is still sitting on an idea. The difference between these two women isn't intelligence, talent, or luck. It's action. It's the willingness to move forward without certainty, to trust that clarity comes through action, not before it. You don't need to know every step. You just need to take the first one. The rest will reveal itself along the way. Hesitation kills dreams more than failure ever will. Failure teaches. Hesitation steals time, and time is the one thing you can never get back. Highly intelligent women don't let fear dictate their choices. They acknowledge it, but they don't obey it. They understand that every time they push past fear, they build resilience. The first step is always the hardest, but once they take it, the next one is easier. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. It's a cycle that feeds itself. The more you act, the more capable you feel. The more capable you feel, the bigger the actions you're willing to take. This is how highly intelligent women build unshakable confidence. Not by waiting for it to magically appear, but by proving to themselves through action that they can handle anything. If you find yourself hesitating, ask yourself this: what's the worst that could happen? And even if the worst did happen, could you handle it? The answer is almost always yes. You've handled difficult things before, and you'll handle them again. Your brain will try to convince you that you're not ready, but your brain is wrong. You are ready. You just have to decide. The moment you feel fear or hesitation, count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. That's how highly intelligent women separate themselves from the rest. They don't wait for confidence. They create it. They don't wait for readiness. They decide they are ready now. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful habits of highly intelligent women. They understand that their time, energy, and mental well-being are limited resources, and they refuse to let other people drain them. They do not live to please everyone, nor do they feel guilty for protecting their space. They know that saying no is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-respect. They recognize that every time they say yes to something that does not serve them, they are saying no to something that does. One of the biggest struggles people face when setting boundaries is the fear of disappointing others. They worry about being seen as rude, difficult, or unkind. But highly intelligent women do not fall into this trap. They know that their worth is not measured by how much they accommodate others. They do not let guilt dictate their decisions. Instead, they operate from a place of clarity and self-awareness. They know what matters to them, what drains them, and what uplifts them. They make choices based on those priorities, not based on the expectations of others. People will always take as much as you allow. If you do not set boundaries, the world will set them for you, and it will not be in your favor. Highly intelligent women recognize this, which is why they are intentional about where they invest their energy. They are selective about who they give their time to, and they are not afraid to walk away from situations that do not align with their values. They trust that they do not need to overextend themselves to be worthy of love, respect, or success. When they set boundaries, they do so with confidence and without over-explaining. They do not justify their choices. They do not apologize for prioritizing their mental health, their goals, or their peace. If they cannot commit to something, they say, "I appreciate you asking, but I can't take that on right now." They do not add unnecessary explanations. They do not feel the need to soften their answer to make others comfortable. They understand that a clear, firm boundary is not up for negotiation. Setting boundaries is not just about saying no, it is also about communicating expectations clearly. Highly intelligent women do not assume that others will automatically respect their limits. They express what they need, whether it is in relationships, at work, or in their personal life. If they need uninterrupted time to focus on an important project, they say so. If they do not tolerate certain behaviors, they make that clear. They do not wait for people to guess or figure it out on their own. They state their needs with confidence and consistency. They also understand that boundaries are not just about keeping people out, they are about making space for the right things. By saying no to toxic relationships, draining commitments, and distractions, they create room for what truly matters. They prioritize their well-being, their growth, and the people who respect them. They do not allow guilt to make them compromise their happiness. They understand that protecting their peace is not selfish, it is necessary. Many people think that setting boundaries will push others away, but the truth is that healthy boundaries strengthen relationships. Highly intelligent women attract people who respect their limits. They do not tolerate one-sided friendships where they are always giving and never receiving. They surround themselves with people who uplift them, not those who take advantage of their kindness. If someone reacts negatively to their boundaries, they take it as a sign that the person benefited from their lack of them. They do not let that guilt manipulate them into lowering their standards. Setting boundaries is an ongoing practice. It requires self-awareness and the willingness to stand firm even when it feels uncomfortable. Highly intelligent women do not let the fear of confrontation stop them from protecting their energy. They know that their peace is more important than avoiding an awkward conversation. They understand that if someone cannot respect their boundaries, that person is not meant to have access to them. Highly intelligent women understand that failure is not the enemy, it is a necessary part of success. They do not see failure as a reflection of their worth or intelligence, but as proof that they are trying, learning, and growing. They do not avoid failure, they embrace it. They recognize that every mistake, setback, and misstep is a lesson that brings them closer to their goals. While many people let the fear of failure paralyze them into inaction, highly intelligent women do the opposite. They fail fast, fail often, and fail forward. They know that waiting for perfection is a trap. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect idea, or the perfect execution before they take action. But highly intelligent women do not fall into that cycle. They understand that perfection is an illusion, and the only way to improve is through action. They start before they feel ready, knowing that they will make mistakes along the way. Instead of fearing those mistakes, they expect them. They plan for them. They see them as stepping stones, not roadblocks. When they fail, they do not dwell on it. They do not waste time beating themselves up or replaying the situation in their minds. They do not let failure define them. Instead, they analyze what went wrong, extract the lesson, and move on. They treat failure like a scientist treats an experiment. If something does not work, they adjust their approach and try again. They are not emotionally attached to the outcome. They are committed to the process. Highly intelligent women also separate failure from their identity. They understand that just because they failed at something does not mean they are failures. They refuse to let one mistake, rejection, or setback shake their confidence. They remind themselves that failure is temporary, but quitting is permanent. They do not let a single bad experience make them abandon their dreams. Instead, they use failure as motivation to work smarter, improve, and come back stronger. They also surround themselves with people who have a healthy relationship with failure. They seek out mentors, colleagues, and friends who encourage them to take risks, experiment, and push their limits. They avoid people who are afraid of failure because they know that fear is contagious. They prefer to be around those who understand that success is built on a foundation of failed attempts. They study the lives of successful women who have failed their way to the top, knowing that every breakthrough story is filled with moments of defeat, rejection, and setbacks. One of the biggest reasons people fear failure is because they worry about what others will think. Highly intelligent women do not let this hold them back. They understand that other people's opinions are not a measure of their worth. They do not seek approval or validation before making bold moves. They know that no matter what they do, there will always be critics. Instead of letting that stop them, they let it fuel them. They refuse to play small just to avoid judgment. They also recognize that the faster they fail, the faster they learn. They do not waste time stuck in analysis paralysis. They take action, get results, whether good or bad, and adjust accordingly. They treat life as an ongoing experiment where every failure is just another data point that brings them closer to success. They are willing to make 10 mistakes if it means they will learn something valuable that moves them forward. They also develop resilience. They do not let failure break them because they have trained themselves to bounce back quickly. They know how to reframe their thoughts and focus on solutions instead of problems. They do not spiral into negativity when things go wrong. They shift their mindset and keep going. They remind themselves of all the times they have overcome challenges in the past, and they trust that they will do it again. Highly intelligent women also understand that failure often comes disguised as redirection. Sometimes a door closes not because they were not good enough, but because they were meant to take a different path. They trust that setbacks are not necessarily stop signs, they are just detours leading to something even better. They stay open-minded and adaptable, willing to shift gears when necessary. They also take personal responsibility for their failures. Instead of blaming others or making excuses, they own their mistakes, they acknowledge what went wrong without shame, and they use that knowledge to grow. They do not waste energy on self-pity. They focus on solutions. They know that failure is not a reason to stop. It is a reason to try again with more wisdom and experience. Highly intelligent women do not fear failure because they know it is the price of success. They are willing to fail as many times as it takes to achieve their dreams. They do not see failure as a loss, they see it as an investment in their future. They embrace the discomfort of failure because they know that growth does not happen in their comfort zone. They fail fast, fail forward, and keep moving until they win. Highly intelligent women understand that overthinking is a trap that keeps them stuck. They know that spending too much time analyzing every possibility, every potential mistake, and every worst-case scenario only leads to one thing: paralysis. They refuse to let overthinking steal their time, energy, and opportunities. Instead, they trust themselves and take action, even when the path is uncertain. They do not waste precious moments second-guessing their decisions or worrying about things beyond their control. They know that clarity comes from movement, not from sitting in endless cycles of doubt. When faced with a decision, they do not allow themselves to spiral into what-ifs and imaginary worst-case scenarios. They gather the necessary information, weigh their options, and make a choice. They do not let fear convince them that they need more time to think. They trust that they are capable of handling whatever outcome follows. If they make the wrong choice, they adjust, learn, and move forward. They do not waste time dwelling on what could have been. Overthinking is often driven by the fear of making a mistake. But highly intelligent women know that mistakes are part of growth. They understand that no one has all the answers, and waiting for the perfect solution often means missing valuable opportunities. They remind themselves that action leads to progress, while overthinking leads to stagnation. They train their minds to focus on solutions instead of getting stuck in problems. They refuse to let self-doubt hold them back. They also recognize that overthinking drains their mental energy. They protect their minds by setting limits on how long they allow themselves to analyze a situation. If they find themselves stuck in indecision, they give themselves a deadline. They say, I will make a choice by the end of the day, and they stick to it. They understand that no decision is permanent. If something does not work out, they can always pivot, but they will not waste time standing still. Highly intelligent women also filter out unnecessary noise. They do not allow the opinions of others to dictate their choices. They understand that seeking too much external validation leads to confusion. They trust their instincts and make choices that align with their values and goals. They do not let fear of judgment prevent them from pursuing what they truly want. They recognize that they are the ones who have to live with their decisions, so they prioritize their own judgment over external pressure. When their minds start to spiral into overthinking, they use strategies to break the cycle. They take action, even if it is a small step. They shift their focus from thinking to doing. If they are stuck in doubt, they remind themselves of past situations where they made good decisions despite uncertainty. They use those moments as proof that they are capable of figuring things out. They also practice mindfulness to stay present. Overthinking often comes from worrying about the future or regretting the past. Highly intelligent women train themselves to focus on what they can control in the present moment. They use deep breathing, journaling, or physical movement to reset their minds when they feel overwhelmed by too many thoughts. They take control of their mental space instead of letting it control them. They also embrace the fact that no decision is ever perfect. They understand that success comes from taking consistent action, not from making flawless choices every time. They accept that there will always be unknowns, and they trust themselves to handle whatever challenges arise. They do not let perfectionism stop them from moving forward. They also develop a mindset of self-trust by keeping promises to themselves. When they say they will do something, they follow through. This builds confidence and reduces the tendency to overthink. The more they prove to themselves that they are capable, the less they feel the need to second-guess their choices. Highly intelligent women understand that true power comes not from competing with others, but from lifting them up. They know that success is not a limited resource, and another woman's achievements do not diminish their own. Instead of seeing other women as threats, they see them as allies, collaborators, and sources of inspiration. They celebrate the wins of other women and genuinely support their growth because they know that when one woman rises, it opens doors for others to rise as well. They do not fall into the trap of comparison or jealousy. They recognize that every woman is on her own unique journey with different challenges, timelines, and opportunities. They do not waste time feeling threatened by someone else's progress. Instead, they focus on their own path, knowing that their success is determined by their actions, mindset, and perseverance, not by what someone else is doing. They reject the idea that only a few women can succeed at the top. They believe that success expands when women support each other, and they actively contribute to creating environments where more women can thrive. When they see a woman struggling, they do not ignore her or judge her. They offer guidance, encouragement, or resources if they can. They know that small gestures of support, whether it is a kind word, a recommendation, or a shared opportunity, can make a significant impact. They do not hoard knowledge or keep valuable information to themselves out of fear that someone else might surpass them. They share what they have learned, helping other women navigate challenges and achieve their goals faster. They also understand that confidence is contagious. When a woman sees another woman owning her power, setting boundaries, and pursuing her dreams, it gives her permission to do the same. Highly intelligent women lead by example. They show up boldly in their careers, relationships, and personal pursuits, inspiring others to step into their own greatness. They are not afraid to take up space, and they encourage other women to do the same. They know that playing small does not serve anyone, and they challenge the societal conditioning that tells women to be quiet, agreeable, or self-sacrifice. They surround themselves with other strong, intelligent women who uplift them. They do not engage in toxic competition, gossip, or tearing others down. They choose friendships and professional relationships that are rooted in mutual respect, encouragement, and growth. They create communities where women feel safe to express themselves, take risks, and go after big dreams without fear of being judged. They know that the right support system can make all the difference in a woman's journey, so they are intentional about fostering those connections. They are also quick to acknowledge and appreciate the contributions of other women. When another woman does great work, they give her credit. They do not hesitate to highlight the accomplishments of female colleagues, mentors, and friends. They understand that recognition and visibility matter, and they use their voices to amplify the achievements of other women. They advocate for women in rooms where their voices may not be heard, and they push for equal opportunities, fair treatment, and respect in every space they occupy. They also know that lifting other women up does not mean neglecting their own needs or dreams. Supporting others does not require sacrificing their own ambitions. They practice a mindset of abundance, believing that there is room for everyone to succeed. They do not shrink themselves to make others comfortable, but they also do not step on others to get ahead. They strike a balance between pursuing their own goals fiercely and being a source of encouragement for those around them. They recognize that cultural and societal barriers often make it harder for women to succeed, and they actively work to break those barriers. They challenge outdated narratives that pit women against each other. They speak up against unfair treatment, advocate for policies that support women's advancement, and use their platforms to create positive change. They are not just focused on their own success. They are committed to creating a better world for all women. They also teach younger generations of women to embrace confidence, leadership, and resilience. They mentor, guide, and support women who are just starting their journey, knowing that the knowledge they pass on can shape future leaders. They do not wait until they reach a certain level of success to lift others up. They do it at every stage of their journey. Highly intelligent women know that real success is not about standing alone at the top. It is about bringing others along with them. They believe in community over competition, in collaboration over isolation. They understand that empowering other women does not take anything away from them. It only makes them stronger. They lift others up, not because they have to, but because they know that the world is better when women rise together. Everything I just told you, these aren't just the habits of highly intelligent women. These are your habits, or at least they can be. Starting today, you don't need permission. You don't need to be ready. You just need to decide. So who are you going to be? The woman who waits or the woman who moves?